Tammy Slaton's story begins with a kind of raw honesty that few people would ever have the courage to share with the world. When 1,000 Pounds Sisters first premiered, audiences saw more than just a woman struggling with her weight. They saw a person fighting for her life, her dignity, and her chance at something better. Tammy never imagined her daily battles would turn into a phenomenon that millions would follow, but her story was always more than numbers on a scale. It was a reflection of pain, resilience, and the complicated love between two sisters who refused to let go of each other, no matter how dark things got. Back in those early days, Tammy was trapped physically, emotionally, and mentally. Every breath was heavy, every movement felt like a mountain to climb. Her body had become a prison, and the world watched as she tried to find the key. She weighed over 700 pounds, relying on oxygen to breathe, unable to walk far without gasping for air. Simple things most people never think about, sitting in a car, walking up a few steps, standing in the shower, became impossible. Every scene on screen showed not just a reality TV subject, but a human being trying to survive the weight of years of pain. Food had always been Tammy's escape. In her words, it was the one thing that never abandoned her. When she was sad, lonely, or angry, food filled the silence. It was comfort, control, and sometimes punishment. Viewers who judged her never saw the years behind the eating, the bullying, the depression, the childhood poverty, the feeling of being the fat one who didn't fit anywhere. The meals weren't just about hunger. They were about trying to quiet feelings that screamed louder than anyone realized. Her sister Amy had managed to find her way through surgery, marriage, and motherhood, but Tammy's road seemed like it would never open up. When Amy lost weight and started a new life, Tammy felt proud but left behind. It's hard to cheer for someone when you can't even get out of bed without help. She smiled for her sister, but behind the smile, jealousy and despair mixed into something she couldn't explain. Then came the moment that changed everything. It was late 2021 when Tammy's health hit its lowest point. Her oxygen levels plummeted, her body shut down, and she was rushed to the hospital. The doctors didn't sugarcoat it, she was dying. Fans feared the worst as news spread that she had been placed on life support. Those days were a blur of machines, prayers, and silence. But somehow, against every odd, she survived. When she woke up, Tammy said later, it felt like being reborn. It was like God was telling me, this ain't your time. That hospital stay was her turning point. For years, she had claimed to want to change. This time, she truly did. Something in her had shifted. She realized she actually wanted to live, not just exist. When she looked at herself in the hospital mirror, pale and weak, she saw more than a broken body. She saw the faint spark of a woman who still had fight left in her. Tammy began a long, painful recovery in a rehab facility where every day tested her patience and strength. The routines were strict, controlled meals, limited movement, therapy sessions that forced her to face truths she had buried under food for decades. The first weeks were the hardest. She cried often, screamed sometimes, and almost quit more than once. But she didn't. Slowly, she began to change. Not just her body, but her mind. The pounds came off gradually at first, then more quickly. When she lost her first 50 pounds, she smiled genuinely for the first time in months. When she reached 100 pounds lost, the staff clapped, and Tammy cried because for the first time in her life, she believed she could do it. By the time she qualified for surgery, she had already lost enough weight to change her future. The operation itself was terrifying. She feared not waking up, but she also feared never getting the chance. After it was done, recovery was brutal. But when the swelling faded and the numbers dropped, Tammy realized she had done something she once thought was impossible. By the time season 5 aired, Tammy had lost over 400 pounds. Fans barely recognized her. She could walk on her own, smile freely, and breathe without the constant hum of an oxygen tank beside her. But what struck people most wasn't just her body, it was the light in her eyes. She had found her sense of humor again, posting playful selfies, making jokes, even wearing colors she used to avoid because she thought they drew too much attention. Yet, behind the laughter, Tammy revealed a deeper truth, one that most people never see when they imagine weight loss. Everybody sees the outside, she said once in a confessional, but they don't see what's going on inside. As the physical weight melted off, emotional scars surfaced. She admitted she sometimes looked in the mirror and didn't recognize herself. The body she had hated for years was gone, but the woman she saw now felt like a stranger. "I don't hate her," she whispered once, "but I don't fully love her yet either." For Tammy, weight loss wasn't just about health, it was about identity. For so long, she was the big one, the one who needed help, the one everyone doubted. Losing that label was liberating but also terrifying. Who was she without it? What did she stand for now that her pain wasn't visible? Her therapist helped her understand that what she was feeling was normal. When someone loses hundreds of pounds, the emotional fallout can be overwhelming. You start to feel exposed, vulnerable, without the physical barrier that once protected you. "It's like losing your armor," she said once. "You feel everything again, the good and the bad." And she did feel it, the loneliness, the fear, the guilt of surviving when others didn't. Her husband Caleb, who she met during her rehab stay, became her comfort and companion. Their love story touched fans everywhere. Two people who had been through hell together, finally finding happiness. But the joy was short-lived. When Caleb passed away in 2023, Tammy's world cracked open again. "I felt like my heart had been ripped out," she said later. "I was finally happy and then it was gone." Her relationship with Amy also evolved. They had fought and reconciled countless times throughout their lives, their arguments sometimes explosive but always rooted in love. After everything, they found a new rhythm. Amy said in an interview, "I used to think Tammy didn't want help, but now I see she just needed the right kind of love." Tammy echoed the sentiment. "We've both changed. She's learning to be a mom, and I'm learning to be a better sister." That renewed bond became the heart of the show. Two sisters, no longer defined by their struggles, but by their strength. Their laughter returned, their teasing felt genuine again, and their hugs carried a weight of forgiveness that only siblings understand. Through it all, Tammy's biggest revelation was that transformation never ends. Even now, she admits that self-love is still a work in progress. She has days when she looks in the mirror and doubts herself, days when old habits whisper temptations, days when grief tries to drag her back. But she's learning that progress doesn't mean perfection. It means choosing to keep going anyway. "I used to count calories," she said with a smile. "Now I count blessings." Tammy's story has become more than just reality TV. She's become a voice for people who feel trapped by their past. Her openness about mental health, grief, and addiction has helped thousands of fans see themselves in her journey. People write messages saying, "If Tammy can do it, I can too." And maybe that's the real success, not the number on the scale, but the hope she's given others. That compassion extended to others too. Tammy started responding personally to fans who messaged her about their struggles with weight, addiction, or depression. She sent small voice notes, typed out long replies, and sometimes just said, "You're not alone." Those 3 words became a kind of mantra for her. Every time she said them, she reminded herself, too. By 2024, Tammy's confidence had taken on a new kind of power, not loud or showy, but quiet and steady. She began posting videos that weren't about diets or scales, but about emotions. One day she'd talk about missing Caleb, another about learning to go out in public without fear of stares. She filmed herself laughing with Amy, playing with her nephews, or simply sitting outside in the sun. Her content felt peaceful, real. Fans began calling it healing energy. But healing isn't linear, and Tammy knew that better than anyone. There were days when she still cried for hours, days when old cravings came back strong, days when she questioned if she deserved all the praise. During one rough week, she admitted online, "I know people see the progress, but sometimes I still feel broken. I'm trying though. I won't quit." That honesty, raw, unfiltered, only made people love her more. Amy became her constant companion during those ups and downs. The two sisters found themselves rebuilding their bond in a way that felt brand new. They cooked healthier meals together, took short walks, and talked about everything from childhood memories to motherhood to grief. "We used to fight all the time," Tammy said with a chuckle in one clip. "Now we fight about who's going to wash the dishes. That's progress." Amy often said that seeing Tammy recover changed her perspective on her own life. "When you almost lose someone you love," Amy said tearfully, "you start realizing what really matters. I used to get mad over stupid stuff. Now I just want to make memories." For Tammy, those memories became sacred. She cherished every little moment: a family barbecue, a drive through Kentucky's rolling hills, a sunset viewed from her porch. After years of confinement, freedom felt like a gift she'd never take for granted again. She once posted, "I remember when just walking outside felt impossible. Now I go out every day, even if it's just to breathe fresh air." Yet, the deeper she healed, the more she faced the ghosts of her past. Fame brought opportunity, but it also brought reminders of who she used to be. Old clips from early seasons of the show would go viral, showing her angry, unwell, or defiant. People would comment, "She's changed so much," or "I can't believe that's the same woman." Tammy often said those videos made her cry, not out of shame, but out of gratitude. "That girl was hurting," she said softly in one interview. "But she never gave up. I owe her everything." That sense of reflection became the core of her growth. She started journaling about the difference between surviving and living. "Surviving," she wrote, "means waking up because you have to. Living means waking up because you want to." For the first time, Tammy wanted to. She wanted to see what came next, not because the world expected her to, but because she finally did.